I am Ray, and most people trust Amazon more than they trust God. Can you believe it? I cannot. Because when people go and order something on Amazon, they click the buy button. They're not sitting there worrying about whether or not their package is going to show up. They have complete trust and faith in Bezos. Mr. Jeff. Here he is, Mr. Jeff. They trust that he'll run around in his giant sleigh, pulled around by reindeer, and go deliver your presents same day. Wait, I think I'm getting my stories mixed up. We don't question whether or not Jeff will deliver, but why do we question whether God will deliver? When we ask something from God, for some reason we question whether or not God will deliver. God, I really need food to eat this week. If not, I'm gonna die. Please help me. And then when you don't get same day delivery, God has ignored me again. You see, Jeffrey here does one thing that God does not do, and that is send you an email when your package is on the way. And the problem is that everybody's living from their senses. So only when we see evidence of what we want do we have faith and trust that everything is going according to plan. And so even though God is at least a little bit more powerful than Jeffrey, it's difficult to have trust because God is unseen, or at least that is what we think. You see, those who look at Jeff do not see God, and those who look at God do not see Jeff. In other words, the only reason that we lack trust and faith is because we have been obsessed with Jeffrey's world. Jeffrey. Please, all Jeffreys, tell me how to spell your name in the comments, because I don't think that is correct. Jafari seems a bit Jamaican. Anyway, when we're so caught up in Jafari's world, the evidence of what we want is not exactly right in front of our faces. And the problem is that we assume the reality that we see with our senses is the true nature of reality. And it's not. It's just not. But how can you tell someone who has been living their whole lives like this, from senses alone, that the reality they see is not the reality that is? Well, you can make a movie called The Matrix, clearly defining how everybody's living in a dream. And most people won't get it. Let me tell you, The Matrix was a documentary. What does this mean? It means the moment you begin paying attention to God and stop paying attention to Jafari. Now that I think about it, it sounds a bit Middle Eastern, like Aladdin or something. The more you look at God, the more you stop living from your senses. The external circumstances of your reality do not matter at all. At all. But like in a movie, you have to suspend disbelief. And it's hard to do this unless we understand the nature of God, which is, well, congratulations, what you are learning about here. Because when you stop looking at the world, Jafari's world, you see that God has already been taking care of you this whole time. Every single thing you need. Forever and always. The only problem is that we get in the way. We pray and we say, God, I need money. Please. And God says, yes, so it shall be. Like a genie. Except for with God, you get unlimited wishes. But then what do? We look at our current reality. And we see that we are broke. And because we react negatively to our current circumstances, we feel resentful, we get angry, and we, well, feel broke. But the fact is, God listens to your heart more than your words. Which means that God will listen to how you feel more than how you think. It's not that how you think doesn't matter, it's just that feelings are stronger. Good thing too, because if all of your thoughts were just made manifest, you would be in trouble. But only the thoughts that have a strong emotion behind them, those are the thoughts that are made manifest. Those are the thoughts that get through to God. Instead of watching you go to voicemail, oh, them again. I know what they're going to do. They're going to pray for one thing and do something else. Okay, God doesn't do that. That's just me. But the point is, we don't understand that we're communicating to God all the time. Not just through prayer, but throughout the day. By the thought that we think and what we feel. But see what happens when you have faith and trust in God. When you know that the package is already on the way, you don't need to worry about your current reality, because it is precisely the worry, the fear, the anger that sabotages our blessings, that contradicts our prayers. But when you can relax and be at ease, you can more easily allow your blessings to flow into your life. And really all this is a habit. Breaking the habit of living from your senses, continually remembering that your current circumstances don't matter. What matters is your state of being. How abundant do you feel? How grateful are you for what you already have? How much do you love life? How much are you enjoying life? Because, well, who we are influences the way we act. The way we act influences what we have. And so, if you're constantly feeling negative, thinking negative, being negative, you will act in ways that cause you to have a negative life. But the more you can enjoy life, be as you are, feel abundant, feel good, you will begin acting in more positive ways, and you will have more. But most people fall on the slave side of the spectrum, where they want more, so they go and do more. A never-ending hamster wheel, because they didn't address the root of the problem, our state of being. That is why Christ said, "Seek first the kingdom of God, and then Jeffrey's world will be added onto you." Why? Because the moment you find God, you keep your attention focused on God, you are completely satisfied. You are content. You are at peace. You are in love and in joy. And you are in abundance, because that is the nature of God. Heaven. And that will cause you to act in extremely positive, harmonious ways. That will give you the life you've always dreamed of. But when you're focused on the world, what is it? It's never-ending struggle, trying and trying and trying. Now, you can be successful this way. I'm not saying you can't. It's just the hard way of living life. So instead of doing, instead of trying to get, focus your mind one-pointedly on you, on your state of being, on God. And this is a great thing, because I'm basically telling you, do your best to feel good all the time. Focus all of your energy on feeling good, and you will have a good life. But most people in today's society will tell you, feelings don't matter. Do more and more and more. I'm saying if you want to live a good life, feel better more often. Do more things that you love. Do more things that you enjoy. And the way to do this is, well, turn your attention toward God, and you will feel good all the time. It doesn't mean you won't go through struggles. It means that you will flow through your struggles with grace, because you will understand that God has been holding your hand all along the way. But what are we? We're like children running around on the playground of life, but we can only see like a few inches in front of our faces. Everything else is dark. And we don't realize that God, our parents, are standing on the outskirts of the playground, watching us the whole time. And so when we fall down, we get hurt, we can't see God. We feel like we've been abandoned. And we sit there and suffer and, ow. But the moment you begin looking for God, call out to God in the darkness, and God will reach out to you and grab your hand. Here I am. Don't take your eyes off God, because you'll get pulled into Jafari's world. And he is scary. He's not a nice man. And so you will allow the fear in, or the shame, or the guilt, or just the negativity in general, which will cause you to fall to lower states of being, which will cause you to act in negative ways, which will ruin your life. And you see, most people stay stuck because they don't have it bad enough. Because when you're really suffering, you need to find freedom from that suffering. But when you're kind of content in Jafari's world, you can kind of get by without really being desperate for change. The worst thing you can do is live a lukewarm life where it's not really that good, but it's not really that bad either. You get none of the benefits, and you have no motivation to live better. Ramakrishna said, the one thing that is required for freedom, for enlightenment, is a strong desire for God. That alone can lead you to your highest life. And well, once you find freedom, you can decide whether or not you want to go back to live in the world or you just want to be free from it all. Because you have that option. Some people who find God will not concern themselves with this world anymore. They will just enjoy freedom, enjoy heaven, and transcend from this worldly plane and relax like a spa day in heaven, where the spa day is like an eternity. But once you find freedom, you can also return to the world and use your powers for good or for whatever you want. And what happens is that the more you look at God, the more your faith muscles are built. It's like when we say God works in mysterious ways. Well, crackheads too work in mysterious ways until you realize that they are on crack. In other words, you won't know how God works until you continually cultivate a relationship. Because, well, when you're so caught up in the world, you're not as familiar with God. Living in the world is like in darkness. I don't know what that spelled was. It looks like parking. In Jafari's world, you get parking tickets, and that creates a lot of suffering. But in God's world, lights. It's Christmas every day. Wait, I don't know if that's a good thing or not. What is darkness? Unconsciousness, ignorance, which is why we say God works in mysterious ways, because we're living in ignorance. We don't know anything. Everything is dark and scary. But when you turn your attention toward the light, everything begins making perfect sense. You begin understanding exactly why things happen the way they do. Every negative situation, you see it is working for your highest spiritual growth and for the growth of everybody around you. And you're not so concerned with wallowing in your own suffering anymore. Why me? This sucks. What is going on here? God has not answered my prayers. But you will see that God answers your prayers in ways you did not expect. In fact, everything you go through is God answering your prayers. But when you're so caught up looking at the surface level of things, you can see a negative situation and say, there is no good here. This is all negative. But when you just stop looking at the surface and you turn toward God, now you can hear God's voice. You can hear the lessons and you more easily can learn them. And so you stay trapped in suffering less and less and less and less until you stop suffering altogether. And that is freedom, that is awakening. That is enlightenment. That is what it means to find God. You stop suffering because the closer you get to God, the more you experience peace, love, joy, abundance. And you can't be suffering while also immersed in the bliss of God. It just cannot happen. Even if there is worldly pain, it does not matter. Wow, numbers 7 and a 4. I'm getting better at my spelling. Darken74. It's going to be my new username. Darken74. I like that. The point of it is, all we have to do is get in the habit of remembering God. That's all. And it becomes more and more easy to relax and be at ease and know that your prayers are already being answered. Otherwise, when you get caught looking at the world, you allow the fear, you allow the negativity in. And that negativity causes you to fall to lower states of being, which is what sabotages you from having the life that you want. It's breaking the habit of looking with your eyes and building the habit of looking with your third eye. That is all. Goodbye. I am Ray. Visit my cool store. Much peace and many blessings. And remember, God is watching.